The following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome to Hallmark of Greatness Last Orders, the podcast where we look back into the films our Hallmark favourite actors and directors would rather forget they were ever involved with. I'm Joe, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts. Fresh off tour with his gyrating fiddle band, and with a very, very sore bottom, it's Rhythmic James.
Mr. Rhythmic Stephen. Wish he was in everything.
I just imagine that he is in everything. We could be watching Heat. Yeah.
Certainly makes this better if he was.
And that voice there joining us once again, the only man who can bang a gong and explode himself with a single touch. It's Planty.
Gong along. A la gong.
Oh, mate, in a circle there.
For the kids.
For the 90s weekenders. If you want to follow us on Twitter at Hallmark of Great and Instagram and Facebook at Hallmark of Greatness, or if you have a film you would like to suggest to us, there is an email that you can find, or just yell at us in the street. Should we ever leave the house? Yeah, I mean, people do. But it'd be nice if it was constructive.
Yeah, never film suggestions, is it?
No, it's just, why are you here?
Material.
Yeah.
Why are you?
Yeah, outside the schools.
Please leave without making a scene, sir.
It's the only time anyone's ever called me, sir. Yes, we're back. It's all good. Let's unless anyone's got anything they wish to promote.
No items on the agenda, no.
No, nothing. Right, let's get right into it then. With 1990s Alienator. Oof.
Good name. Patchy follow through.
Good name. Only redeeming thing is that it's got PJ Souls in it.
Yeah.
I would follow that woman to the ends of the earth.
And this week you did.
I mean, I had to sit through a lot of dreck to get to the bit where she was sat there in her peephole cardigan.
Yeah, some interesting clothing choices in this one.
Yes, always take right. James, fire up the synopsis meter and let's see what nonsense it churns out.
Yeah, so as people who are listening to the podcast regularly will know, the podcast-o-matic, whatever we're calling it, it's fired exclusively by you and also me and also some people that I've talked to just to pad it out. It just selects a random plot. There's like 12 different indices of plot that it could choose from. There we go. Karen Alienator is a local baker who must move back to the small town where she grew up, or else the good ship Titanic 3 will sink. The plot thickens when Karen meets Ben Kneecap, a racing horse breeder who makes puppets out of cat hair. A crisis ensues when they run out of jam and the shop doesn't have any more, and the couple must work together. Will they found an indie cafe with a charming indie bookshop attached to it? Perhaps.
I mean, the Titanic 3, powered by jam, apparently.
Thritanic?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, put that on the poster.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'd make it just purely based on that pun alone.
The actual poster synopsis, because I wasn't reading out the full one because it's like a page.
No.
An android hunter from outer space is about to create hell on Earth. Now, that's not true, is it?
No, some shrouded bits of woodland, certainly.
And an inconsistent gun.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes it disintegrates things. Sometimes it just explodes them. Sometimes it makes a man catch fire for no reason. I'm thinking that's probably the amount of vodka that was in his system, because everyone is cane to the tits in this. Right, let's get into this. Alienator, 1990. Amazing Movies presents. We'll see about that, sunshine.
Yes.
I did like, though, it introduces early on the boss level music that goes on throughout it.
Again, I didn't have time to work it out this time, but it's very. There's a lot of car honking. Yeah. We get an opening crawl, a la Star Wars.
I know, I liked that,
but in this case,
didn't thread into the rest of the film in any way.
Shite Wars. Yeah. In a far off corner of the galaxy.
Oh, you've got it written down.
Oh, I wrote it. Yeah. I was doing my Mavis Beacon typing while reading. A well-armed rebel battalion ambushes the armies of the great tyrant Baal. A massacre ensues. Thousands of innocents perish, and the leader of the rebellion, Col, short for Colin, I'm guessing, is captured and sentenced to die. Today, on a dark prison planet where no man has ever escaped, the commanding executioner prepares to send his prisoners straight to hell. They're obsessed with hell in this film.
Yeah.
Right, and then that doesn't really feature at all.
Yeah, Sir Tyrant Baal, so not appearing in this film.
Yeah.
Named after the Canaanite god. Baal.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I was like, because I just watched a film about
There's
there's
loads of
film.
There's loads of like pantheons that have Baals. Actually, it was a title. I Wikipedia'd this. It means Lord, so it's kind of similar to like Christianity, and it's like Lord something or other. So,
Please, sir, can we have our Canaanite god back? Oh no, hang on, that doesn't really work.
And yeah, that's where Beelzebub comes from. Baalzebub it was initially. There you go.
Okay, nice.
More interesting than the rest
It's
of that.
not just cock jokes, you know.
Well, I was just about to suggest he could put his balls on my head, but yeah. Okay.
There we go. And we're back.
And that's why I'm here.
We're introduced to Tara, played by
Tara,
played by the lovely, lovely PJ Souls, and she's informed by a man that Kenny is dead. One of the prisoners, and they're all right with that.
Yeah, Gilbert Kenny died last night in his cell. I think he's been Epsteined.
Yeah, I mean that's the mark of an excellent prison, isn't it?
Well, I'm just
someone in your care's died.
This is not a good prison at all.
It wasn't even execution day.
No, and your man just goes, "Oh well."
Yeah,
that's
he just
one less
crosses
for us
his
to
name
worry
off the
about.
list.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one less dinner to order. And we're introduced to the commander, who is just called the commander.
He's just called Commander.
Who is Jan-Michael Vincent, who is pissed all the way through this film.
Yeah, and he looks like he's eaten Jan-Michael Vincent from Airwolf. He also looks like he might have eaten Airwolf as well.
That's where he's from.
Yeah, it is exactly where he's from. Yeah, except he's not playing the cello in the opening titles of this. What I would have been much happier had they just had the theme tune to Airwolf throughout the whole of this. You all know it, of course. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that would have been much better than.
Once at college for a musical performance, we did a medley of 80s TV action themes. So there was Airwolf, there was the theme for Top Gun, Ghostbusters, some other bits and pieces in that. It went on for about 8 minutes, and it was funny at first, and then it got boring, and then it got funny again. It was we're introduced to him and Col.
And his two goons have got napkins on the. They've got like little bibs.
Yeah, he got little
bibs.
lobster bibs on. One guy's got a moustache that makes him look like an 80s rapist.
I mean, it is the 80s.
Yeah, well, this is 90s, so he should have got rid of that by now.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's 1990, isn't it? Okay.
It feels very much, though, like watching one of those 50s sci-fi films, like from the Dub and stuff like that. It just feels very low budget, and they're always in like a water purification factory that's a space station.
I did think it was a Teesside steel mill that this was filmed in. I was certain of it. But your man, the bad guy in this, he's dressed as Gary Glitter as well.
I mean,
really, this. Come on,
there's a lot of duct tape at work here.
Yeah, I do not want to be in his gang.
He comes in and he's like, "We're going to murder you today, Col." And Col goes, "All right." And then for some reason, the commander just boots him right in the ball bag, which is somehow connected to a car horn. Because every time he hits him, it goes, "Hank."
I'd written, "Someone keeps twatting a Bontempi organ." And then I had to look up Bontempi organs because I forgot they existed.
Oh, mate.
I imagined it more
brown
as
and white one. Yeah,
it's just made of accordions. That's how I thought of it. He does this because there's a man arrived who's dressed as Obi-Wan Kenobi from the planet Gamma 12, the delegate general.
You mean non-union Scotty from Star Trek?
That's exactly what I've got here. Lund equals Montgomery shit.
And then we go back to the main control room.
Oh, hang on though, because Cole looks across to a bug that's climbing up the wall and a sentient bag of poo, and this gives him small joy.
A tiny joy. Yeah. But then that bag's open. That was horrible.
Yeah, it was a bit random at first.
All the men have got this rejects from V uniforms on, but Tara has a kind of sexy Alan Partridge peekaboo Pringle on. And I'm fine with none of the other women do, just her.
Yeah.
she's in charge of 2 green buttons and a joystick as well.
Yeah, the commander's angry with Tara and the other warden because there's been a scheduling conflict, meaning this delegate general has to come early, which apparently has warranted its own code color, code blue.
Yep.
That's for scheduling conflicts, apparently.
Priority blue was something that most of the actors in this film are in as well, but that's actually that's an 18 plus. You would get that one past the census.
No. Cole and another man are to be executed via vaporization.
Yep.
So they put one guy there and make Cole watch, which is cruel and unusual.
Yeah, they also
one
look
of the
at
guards next to him
go
is Yosemite Sam. So that was nice.
The clerical officer nearby calls attention to the gene analysis, and he says, "Wow, look at that hook pattern. Never seen that before."
Yeah,
and I thought,
didn't understand
you don't know
what this was
anything
about. Yeah, I just
With
felt
the
like
chlorians.
Yeah, it felt. There's a bit later on with the net, and he says a load of stuff, and it very much reads like they've opened a Wikipedia article and copy and pasted it, like Alan Partridge with microphones. Yeah, it's. Yeah, they watch this man be disintegrated, and while that's happening, Cole does some weak ass karate. Pushes Yosemite Sam into a circuit board, which kills him immediately. A lot of interesting moustaches in this prison. Like, there's the peekaboo top, and moustaches are fine, but everything else is not allowed. He gets the gun off him, shoots the other guy.
It's the gun that makes people leap off high railings.
But the guy falling off the first balcony, who has the lamest as he falls off.
You are going to dub this over with a Wilhelm scream, right? Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, and then the noises that the guns make, I think they're the noises from He-Man or Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon. They felt very like I'd heard them somewhere before. The pew-pew noises.
All right, yeah.
Because later on, when the Alienator's walking about, she makes lightsaber noises. She literally walks around the corner and goes, like that. And I'm like, is Rolf Harris following her? What?
I hope not.
I hope not for her sake, you know.
Oh, no, she'd be fine.
And then I've got, we've bought a crash mat, so everyone's allowed one jump off the balcony.
Yeah, Lund is the delegate general, and he's walking around and sort of bothering people, asking. He's the one that asked Tara what the green buttons do.
Yeah.
And it turns out one of them regulates the vapor quantifier, and one of them engages the destruct mechanism. They're both green,
there is
though.
a safety switch, though.
Is that green?
That's what the training's for, to know which one of the 3 buttons is which, you see. Lund. Cole does a load of shooting of people. Like, I think the same shot, just in reverse at one point as well. When
It was.
Three lads run around the corner. Yeah. And then he comes face to face with the dude, throws the sentient bag at him, which I was like, oh no, bag! But it turns out it's got like weird space leeches in it.
It's a bag of other bugs.
But Brain would
Bag of bugs.
Burrow into this guy's face. I did not like that. That was quite good for like in terms of special effects in this film.
They'd seen Wrath of Khan 8 years ago and gone, in 10 years' time, imagine what we can make with that idea. And they created something that looked like it was made 30 years before Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. And then, this is the best bit, we get the credits. Like, that was
10
a cold
minutes
open.
2 minutes of them as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it went on the credits, didn't it?
And I think they've spent most of the money on the font that says Alienator.
But then it splits into 3 and goes,
It was glorious, though.
That was amazing, yeah. I would have absolutely loved having that on my Windows 95 machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's a cold open to a film. Like 10 minutes of it. It's a bold choice.
Well, there's a lot of that because he somehow escapes on a ship. Don't know how that happens.
They lock down a sector, but he somehow gets through that and then just gets on an escape pod and flies off. And they go, well, we tried nothing and that didn't work.
Yeah, so they send a hunter unit after him, is what they call the Alienator.
The ship interior that Cole is on looks very similar to the simulant ship in Red Dwarf. Well.
I thought that.
It does, yeah.
And I was like, there's no fucking way it's the same one.
Well, they were hiring everything, weren't they? They got the industrial zone from Crystal Maze for all of their last bit.
In the outtakes is Richard O'Brien furiously playing harmonica in the garden.
Mumsy!
And this is the weird bit though. He's flying this ship, which is powered by switches and toggles in the future. No steering wheel now, just a load of levers. And then like the Earth comes out from behind a Venetian blind or something. And was the Earth hiding? Was he in hyperdrive? Didn't make sense.
Yeah, it would be that hyperdrive, right? He's doing his best sort of like choking impression as well because he's got this neck brace
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
He
and,
does
and
that
it
for
took
95%
ages before
of
they
the film.
explained what that was. It
Yep.
took so long for them to explain that. I'd given up on the fact. I thought he just wasn't well. I thought I'd missed something where he was badly.
No, I thought he couldn't breathe the Earth atmosphere or something because he was an alien.
Which would make sense.
Or at one point, I thought he'd shat his pants because he does a lot of running about like he shat his pants.
He presses the land on Earth button, green button. Definitely not a laser vaporizer or whatever, but it lands on Earth very, very badly.
Yeah, which is weird because it wasn't shot at or anything. It was a perfectly functioning escape pod. So maybe he's just bad at steering.
It cuts to an RV. Cuts to an RV now with 14s in it. Doesn't tell you where they're going.
Teens.
Yeah, teens. College students.
That Rick is about 42 years old.
That's exactly the issue I had. Yeah, I was certain he was the dad. I thought he was meant to be the dad.
Nope. He's in a Letterman jacket, but he's also a law student, which I didn't understand, unless he's doing law and sports at university.
It doesn't look like he's concentrated on law or really anything.
He's a prick.
Is it Cameron or something like that? I've put Cameron the distraught and Benny the nerd and Ori the perplexed.
Yes.
Ori the perplexed. I'm pretty sure that's a character out of Final Fantasy IX. I'm certain of it.
Yeah, he's having a couple of cans while driving a massive RV down a country lane.
It's all right, though, because it's Budweiser, so it's not really alcoholic.
No.
Nice.
And we get lots and lots of shots of Cole walking about with shit in his pants, going, ooh, ah, ee, ah, ooh. The women are going, having a go at your man, at Rick, for drink driving. And I'm like, I hope the car crashes into a ravine and we never see any of you people again. But no, he hits Cole with his car. And
he doesn't know, does he? Let's be fair.
No.
He jumped right out in front of me. No, he didn't. He was at the side of you, and he did a really good job at being about a foot away from you when you were meant to have hit him.
And power, isn't it? Is it genetic mutant?
Is it Benny? Benny the nerd?
Benny the nerd
yells out, "Great driving, Mario!"
Now, which I think is probably meant to be really racist because I don't think Mario. I mean, only Mario Kart I can think.
Yeah, I was thinking about
1990.
that. Yeah.
It wasn't out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So he's just racist. He's just saying that all Italians can't drive.
It's not the first time in this film, sadly.
It's not a normally held belief that Italians can't drive, though.
No,
is
it's not. It's a really specific instance of racism.
Is that a saying? Yeah. They go, oh, we'll just leave him because he's a tramp. And I was like, you fucking... I'd say children, but...
I know what you did last fall is what this is.
They get him on board. Right? I'm like, someone's just been run over. Manhandled him into a caravan. That's the safest thing to do, isn't it? Benny puts his head on his chest and goes, he's not breathing. And Cole just screams in his face and then passes out. And I'm like, this is pretty good. I'm enjoying this.
He screams while there's another synth at the same time, which I really like.
That's because he's lent on his balls. That's what it is. And then
we'd all make that noise.
Then we're introduced to Bert and Harley.
Two halves of Elmer Fudd.
I've also got Elmer Fudd and one of the blokes out of Deliverance.
Or like an Americanized Last of the Summer Wine.
They're missing the other bloke because he died in a bathtub in a ravine.
Yeah, we get this long 5-minute scene.
That's far too long.
Them collecting cans, like doing bits. They find a rabbit in a cage, and then the ward, comes along and he's like, "No, you can't have this, boys." And I'm like, "This is supposed to be a sci-fi adventure film. Why are we getting a lecture about poaching halfway through it?"
Is one of them green grass
from
Heartbeat? Listeners, you can't see what Joe's doing. It's very good.
It was a good green grass impression. They drive up to the sheriff's station with him in the back, cross over a rickety bridge that's there for no reason. And they're like, well, we hit a guy, but it was his fault because already Rick's starting to change his narrative so to absolve himself of all blame because he's a prick. And I hope Rick dies first.
Yeah. Not first, but yeah.
They phone the doctor.
Yeah, the Ranger phones the Ranger doesn't give a shit about any of this.
No.
Like, it's not taking statements down or anything.
I mean, I don't know what the power a park ranger has.
Is he a park ranger then?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's a Firewatch guy, nothing more. I think
oh, right. He's so jumped up then, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got his own gun. Bloody hell.
It's America,
It's
mate.
America.
When you meet General Patton later on, mate, he's got a landmine in his cupboard. goes, opens the washing machine, and there's a fucking sea mine in there. Like,
I suppose.
Yeah, so he
yes, I suppose.
phones the local doctor who's demolishing a bottle of whiskey in his office right next to a poster of his all-time favourite film, Gun Valley, all in caps.
It's I don't even know what time of day it's supposed to be. Early evening, I'm guessing. But he's 2/3 of the way down that bottle. So hard day at the surgery, I guess. Or he's off to see a midnight showing of Gun Valley. That's also an option available to us. Everyone is on the piss in this film. And then while they're in the sheriff's, the ward station, we get a streak of pink through the air. And I'm like, let's fucking go. Here we go. Alienator is on the case.
Mr. Film, go. Shining his laser pen across the screen.
And then we get 30 minutes of them sitting in the dark arguing.
Yeah, it's not good. We get lots of Rick saying what Cole is, though, that he's whacked out of his head on PCP. Bet the bastard doesn't even have insurance, he says. I think. Yep. Oh, you prick.
Yep. It's one letter
Cameron,
away.
For her benefit, Cameron thinks he's French. There you go.
Yeah, but Cameron's not all there. Like,
No.
And then we cut back to the spaceship that, the industrial smelting plant. And the commander's leathered, and he's molesting PJ Souls.
Yeah.
And I wasn't okay with this either.
No, there's obviously some history there. I think that's why she's got that uniform. Pick that out specially.
Wear your special booby jumper.
Lund pops in and says, "Oh, don't stop on my account," and leaves, which is great.
He likes to watch. Yeah. And then they have this like shitty back and forth
about the game of strength and skill,
which they never play.
It's squeezing balls, mate.
Is that what it was? Until they honk. We cut back to the planet Earth, and it's Tina Turner with a poster tube on her arm.
That's right.
And the Phantom of the Opera mask.
Yeah, she did. She had like a half mask, didn't she? Yeah.
Domino.
Show us the gross hair for your face.
Again, and she's got like Mr. Kipling pie tins on her tits as well.
I was going to go with dog food bowl tins.
Yeah, that would work as well. It was just an odd choice.
I thought they were exceedingly good, personally.
I mean, she's not dressed for battle because all she's got is a metal thong on and some
Grey
Bentos tins. Yeah. At least in Interzone, like clothes are scarce in the future or past, whenever it was. She stops the doctor's car from coming up and then just fucking sets him on fire.
Now, did you spot the doctor's name, by the way?
Yes, I did, but go ahead.
Dr. Burnside.
Nice.
Burnside.
Lovely stuff, that. Relative of DCI Burnside from the bill.
I did also think that,
yeah. That lad's on fire. I'm just like, that was a big stunt.
Yeah. That's her first contact with anything on the planet.
She just sets fire to it, yeah.
I mean, we would do the same, humanity.
Unless it was a lovely little deer. Yeah. Oh, it's nice.
Oh, yeah, Bambi. Oh, no, not Bambi. You're all right, Bambi.
But you
drunken old man, drunken old doctor.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Bert and Harley walking through the thing in the dark. They've lost the truck, or the truck. Oh, that's it. Because when the Alienator lands, all the power has gone out. So none of the cars are working. The generator's gone out.
Very close encounters, yeah.
Yeah. So they're trying to steal this car. And then he goes, "What's that on the floor?" "Oh, that's the doctor. He doesn't look too well." And then Harley says, "Well done, more like." I'm like, keep it light. Yeah. A man's died.
Yeah, they then quibble about stealing the doctor's car, but Bert doesn't want to steal the car, despite having a few moments ago saying that he's stolen a car part at least.
Yep.
In fairness, you wouldn't steal a car.
I would.
I mean, you wouldn't steal a police officer's helmet and then shit in the police officer's helmet
and then give it back to
his widow. Yeah, exactly.
I also find the box of his box of doctor drugs on the floor, which they both refuse on account of it might do to us what it did to him. And I don't think there's any possible combination of drugs you can take that will make you spontaneously combust.
Oh, I don't know. In Dickens, there was a lot of it, wasn't there?
Yeah, that was all
Dickens.
Because they were all huffing fucking vapors and shit, though, weren't they? It was, yeah. Alienator is here and disintegrating cars and doors and all the stuff she can lay her hands on. But she goes into the cabin and they all run out the back of the cabin, right? And then the Alienator just stays in the cabin blowing shit up for a while.
She's
there's
after
grief.
the Necronomicon. Necronomicon.
Paul says, you see that gun, it'll burn you slowly inside out, which is not at all what just happened to the doctor. He burned very rapidly from the outside.
Well, he was full of gin, though.
That was it. He's full of cheap Polish vodka, weren't he? He would go up like a tree.
The Alienator also vanishes a car as well. It just glows green and goes away.
Right. Now, I have issues with this. Where does the vanishing ray know where to stop?
Different green button in it.
Ah, okay. I believe it.
It's the same question about Kirby. Where does Kirby know when to stop? When he eats a car, why doesn't he eat everything that the car's touching and end up becoming some sort of planet-eating Transformers monster?
Like Galactus, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was going for Transformers. And you were going for Marvel. Omnicron. Yeah. No, that's the variant of.
Voiced by the late thingy, wasn't it? That's his last film role.
The only thing he wouldn't eat was peas from a farm in Lincolnshire. Again, this is all references.
I'm enjoying this. Nobody else is. She shoots the door. She disintegrates the door into the cabin rather than opening it, which is impractical at best.
Oh, that's the alien method of opening the door.
You've got
the Italian
Irish
and the Irish one. Yeah,
it's handy to know. They run away.
They say something about going up to another cabin because that's a brilliant defense.
Well, Rick says we already hid in one cabin, and I'm like, "What do you suggest, Rick? What, just be racist at it and hope that helps?" Mm-hmm.
Rick then wanders 5 feet off the trail and gets caught in a bear trap.
Yeah.
5 feet off, and he gets told off for it as well.
He says there's a lot of poachers out here, and then, as if on cue, the poachers appear. They hang around. They set a trap for the Alienator with this trap. He puts some leaves on it and shit. And then he tells Rick and the kids and Cole to hang out near these trees while he goes back to check. The two hillbillies run around the corner, and then they all take turns shooting at Frey Bentos tins and are gradually killed one by one. They're disintegrated, though. They don't catch fire.
Yeah, that was good because there's only so much comic relief I could take from them.
Comic relief is it reminded me of those policemen in The Last House on the Left. Is it the original Last House on the Left?
Yes.
There's like two comedy policemen in there, isn't there?
It doesn't fit at all.
No, it's really jarring. Yeah, and that's what they were in this. Well, they were shit as well. So Harley and Bert both get disintegrated. And I had to watch two versions of this film because the YouTube version cuts. While they're stood there, Rick's like, I'm going to go off. And she's like, no, I'm going to wait here. And and then it just cuts. And she's like, I found another version and watched that. And she says, I'm also going to leave a little surprise for her. And Cole goes, primitive punji sticks may slow it down.
Oh.
And then they build a pit. Yeah.
Everything makes so much more sense.
Wow.
Does it?
A little bit more, 5% more sense.
I mean, I was pretty against the fact that he was quite blatantly meant to be Native American character and that she was white and blonde and was hunting him down. Like, I just about managed to get over that, and now you're throwing this at me.
Yeah,
Jesus
but he does
Christ.
it in a weird bungee pole voice as well, which yeah.
For 5 days, we rode on BMX.
Was he also at Pork Chop Ridge or whatever it is that the Colonel was at?
Someone with Gatti for shitty shotty. In my Spider-Man outfit.
Spider-Man outfit. Oh, that's a lovely name for apple theft, Joe.
Oggy rating. Let's move on. Let's not just do entire bits. Yeah, they aim for the tits some more. And then there's like the lowest stakes shootout ever between the Ward and the Alienator. And it had that vibe of Naked Gun, where they're just firing from behind the bins 2 foot away from each other. Because she's supposed to be an elite alien bounty hunter, and she can't hit for fuck, mate. Like she killed those two hillbillies, but that's not hard, is it? And she set fire to a doctor, but he's just running around in a circle like a mad lad at one point.
It's like he's at Wigan Pier having a...
Yeah, and then he gets in a barn, runs to one end, shoots, runs down the other end, shoots, runs down the other. I'm like, oh, fucking hell. This is like 7 minutes of this explosion scene. It's too long.
Yeah, there's a lot of running about in a forest, and it's very misty, and yeah.
Yeah, but we get to meet the Colonel.
Yeah, they sort of rendezvous over at the Colonel's house, and then it cuts to, so on mine that the Alienator's picking bits of punji stick out of her stocking feet.
Yes.
And I was just putting, who said that? And also, she pulls the stick out the wrong way. She pulls it out like thin end of the wedge.
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Punji sticks haven't made it to the to Baal's galactic fortress yet.
She's also Christian, I noticed at this point. She's got a cross on her.
Oh, that's nice.
Well
So
spotted,
that's made it out there into the wider world.
Oh,
I did make a note that most of Twitter would get really excited seeing her do stuff with her feet. Hashtag don't make it weird.
And then for some weird reason, there's just a deer there, and she's chill with it.
Yeah, there comes up. Actually, she didn't have much range until that point, having been Mantis in the last film we watched, and then the Alienator in this one.
She's not spoke a line yet in this. She's
But
just
does she not?
Burped a line,
Does
you mean?
she not have a thing like the Terminator? Does she not have a thing who's no threat?
Yes.
Was that? Did I not imagine that?
Oh,
no
that
threat.
could be. Yeah.
Possible homosexual. Yeah.
But yes,
It comes up in
after he
Greek
says
first as well, which really puzzled me.
after she says the punji pit, they show they've made literally a hole and put some sticks in it and not covered it in any way. So she just wasn't looking where she was going and falls into it. The Colonel, I think, is the best character in this by a
Such
country
jolly
mile.
man. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because
He takes everything all in his stride. Alien, you say? Come
Yeah.
into my cabin.
come in, let me get my AK-47. I got this off a man who murdered my entire platoon, you know.
He
And I'm
also
like-
speculates about, because he hears about the laser, and he speculates that the Russians have an operational laser because the Chinese once used it on the Vietnamese. And I'm like, what are you talking about, you madman?
He lives in he's the Unabomber. That's who he is. Shitting in a bucket.
He,
And then
he gets the AK-47 out, by the way, because he said that it ought to make everyone feel more comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got a gun at this point, I think, haven't. No, they've just Rick and the sheriff have got guns. He gets it out and he's like, what's that round your neck, Cole? And he's like, ah. And he goes, hang on, fires one shot out of an AK-47, bing, shoots the collar off. And everyone's like, that was incredibly dangerous to do. But now Cole has his full powers unleashed, and the general says, we should use that collar to do something. They never do. They just leave it there.
Yeah. Rick also said after his neck brace is shot off, Rick just says close but no cigar, and it's got no relevance to anything whatsoever.
I think they just went, Rick, just do one-liners after everyone else's lines, and we'll cut in what we think's good. And
It'd be
he's
cool.
like,
It'd be cool. Yeah.
I've run out of stuff now, so I'm just going to be like, oh, that's a Mario. And then he's like, oh, okay, you take this elephant gun, Sheriff. I'll get this massive anti-personnel mine that I keep in my end table.
Yeah, it's like in a nightstand.
Yeah, in a credenza. Yeah. And then Cole says, oh, no, there is a way we can disarm it with a net. And I was like, fuck off with a net.
Oh, yeah, because he goes, Annette, and then Benny goes, Annette, and he goes, Annette. Who's Annette? When's she showing up then? Something made out of metal could short circuit or destroy it, basing this on absolutely nothing.
Nope. And he's like, I've got some barbed wire and chicken wire in my shed.
On the roof, I thought he said.
Possibly on the roof. Yeah. The Colonel lives a life we'll never understand.
Yeah.
And then just loads more bollocks happens. Like,
there's this commander in London there playing that game of strength and skill.
Of squishy balls, yeah.
Squishy balls.
Of honk the ball.
A goon comes along and says that the Alienator is killing everything, which isn't true at that day.
She's killed three things.
She killed a lot of things for someone whose first experience of Earth has lasted about 5 minutes so far.
Hang on a second. Her name is the Alienator. She's meant to alienate things. She's alienated almost nothing.
What you mean? She's
the title. She should.
Things?
Yeah, she should.
Just make her feel awkward.
She should really upset everybody around her.
Take their AK-47s off them. Make them feel all uncomfortable.
No, just go in.
No,
and
because
go,
they've got the right for that. They should. You can't.
Only nonces have AK-47s.
Exactly.
Or just go in and be like, I think Will Smith was right, and then just like let everybody else go. Ooh. Yeah.
Lund also says that maybe the prisoner was meant to live because he's asking challenging questions, you see, or he's making everybody think.
I still don't understand what Lund's prime directive was in this at all.
I don't understand how he's playing the game of strength and skill because there's no balls in his hands.
Maybe he has to watch.
Make of that what you will.
Oh, maybe that's it, because it's the future, right? You know, like in Demolition Man, where they put the headsets on and they have sex with each other in their mind. Maybe the squeezy ball is your balls, and then you take it in turns, like Rochambeau.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, I don't want to play that, but the electric shock games used to get in the 90s,
Yeah.
The Alienator shows up outside the house and does some robot talking. And Cole
They've buried
goes,
that landmine out there, though, haven't they? Under a pile of leaves. And they put that band, that neck brace thing, they've put that in the trees. I don't know why. I don't know what that's supposed to do.
It was to lure her to that. She stands on the landmine and explodes. The landmine doesn't explode. The Colonel goes, oh, it must have been a dud. And I'm like, he's been so emasculated there, hasn't he? Like, he's one big thing he had, and it didn't go off. And then the Colonel just shoots the landmine, and then it explodes. And he's like, right, that's that done. Let's get back on the gin.
Does he not say, I wish I had one of these, I'd have fried me some commie rice?
He does say that, yes.
Probably.
I mean, I couldn't let that go. In between my bouts of falling asleep throughout this and having to take it back because I was suffering pretty horrendously with COVID, I couldn't have missed that bit.
No.
I couldn't have made that up even in my worst fever dream.
Benny says that it's the war of the worlds and they're on the front lines. Caroline says that the Alienator is going to catch and kill all of them and gets a bit stressed out.
And Cole says, "Ooh la." Oh, okay.
Ori cradles her and says no. And Rick is just standing guard, but not round back where he's supposed to be.
No.
But Cole is just stood there. He's not even acting. He's not doing anything. He's just stood there while this is going on.
He's just waiting for direction.
The Colonel also says, wow, I'd like to get a closer look at that, as he's looking at the Alienator as well.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in the woods for a long time, mate. You know. His special tree stump that he's yes. Is this the point where Benny nearly gets wanked off by both the women?
I think that's a little bit later, but not too much later. But yeah, go for it.
No, he's just there, and then he starts going on about is it John Carter, not John Player. Yeah, starts going about John Carter, and he was like, "Oh, I always wanted to be an adventurer in space."
Yeah,
and these
with
two
a
women,
level-headed assistant like you, going
and
after
a pretty
rescue
woman like you,
beautiful girl like you.
I'm like, all right, don't piss the ugly one off, you know. But
he's not the only one that's doing that, because Rick is approached by Cole, who he calls a geek, which I really like. And Cole is trying to get him a job and show him the ways of this planet, which is definite red flag territory.
I thought there was some inappropriate bum touch in there as well. But
he said that it'll make Rick the richest man on the planet. You've got to be a star, kid.
Yeah. Just get on this black leather couch. We've all seen it.
Anyway, at that point...
then the Alienator starts doing talking.
Oh, yeah, she burps out a message.
Yeah, and Cole
backwards
says...
talk like the little person in the hotel in Twin Peaks.
Yes.
Yeah, she says.
And it basically translates as, I think the more she speaks, the clearer it becomes.
Yes.
So that was quite a nice touch, but I don't know why. And it's basically, if you hand over Cole, I'll let you all live. And the general goes, the first rule, never hand over your weapon. The second rule, what was it? Shoot them before they shoot you. And I was like, were you actually in the army? Or are you like Mike from space?
Have you just been reading that thing by Hulk Hogan with his list of rules?
Oh, Christ. But yeah, and then they open fire on it, and they, I think the gun has stopped working at this point.
It's gone into explodey mode again.
Yeah, sorry. So the disintegration function doesn't function, but it can explode.
Does it blow up the landmine anyway?
He shoots the landmine, it explodes, and he's like,
right, is that what happens?
All right, everyone, we're okay now. And then she just comes over and burps out her lines. And then, do they make
They reckon she's dead.
Yeah.
They reckon she's dead, so they're just like, just generally keeping watch. And then they hear her on the roof flip-flopping around.
Somehow, Orny's got a crossbow at this point as well.
Yes.
And is this when they set the trap for the net? So they lure her out the front.
I don't know. I didn't see them set the trap. I'm sure that's like some extra footage. Director's
It wasn't in the extra version of it that I watched either. So I think at this point they were like, we're near the 90 minutes. Let's fucking wrap it up. So there's loads of bollocks. They lure her outside. Orny shoots her in the back. I genuinely laughed at this. Shot her in the back of the head with a crossbow, and she just goes, huh? And turns around with a big crossbow bolt in the back of her head. I thought, that's good.
Big red dwarf vibes when he's got that axe in the back. When Crichton's got that axe in the back of his head. Yeah.
When she takes it out, it makes this popping noise like a plunger. It's like the worst kind of ADR fucking noise you've ever heard.
Well, when it hit her, it was like thump. It wasn't like a...
Yeah.
And he throws the chicken wire from the roof.
He
and
throws the
there's a
net
big
over
fist
the
bump.
top. And then he goes, yeah, like Power Rangers, like strikes 3 poses. The chicken wire net short circuits and
She collapses and dies.
collapses the Alienator. So the ultimate alien killing machine can be stopped by a bit of chain link fence, as it turns out. And that's it. Then we get Cole grooming Rick again, and he's like, "Come into the woods with me, and I'll show you a good time."
He commands his throat. Apparently, he leads him like by the throat. I don't.
Well, that was later.
Give me one of those looks again.
Well, when he
page?
dies, someone was commanding his throat. He leads him out in the woods, and then the next day they're all drinking beers outside. And it turns out Cole was the baddie all along because he's killed Rick and took over his body as a flesh puppet or some nonsense.
Yep.
Yeah, Rick comes back and he said, "Oh, I don't know where Cole is, and I don't like being touched, pal." And all of them are there like, "Yeah, he does say that a lot." He's already
He's terribly surly.
Yes. Surly looks after Surly. He tries to molest Caroline, and then Sheriff goes over and breaks that up. Benny and him have a bit of a fight, and then from nowhere, the Alienator appears with a giant axe and just lobs Rick's head off.
Yep.
The head lands on the floor, and it's not Rick's head, it's Cole's head, and he's got a mouthful of semen.
He does have, yeah. There's no other way of. I think it was supposed to be froth at the mouth, but whatever.
I thought it was like
just a liquid.
alien blood. I
Alien
assumed,
goo.
or he was eating ambrosia rice
I
pudding
suppose
before
it's
he
like
died.
in the Alien where the cyborg lab. Is it
I
Peter
have
or
written,
something?
I have written throws up milk like any kind of mech in Aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It. So you've got Bishop and you've got Dallas.
Dallas is full of
yeah,
marbles as well, isn't he? Yeah.
Bishop is he's full of the stuff that you get at the bottom of your milky tea in Chinatown.
Ugh, yeah. Oh,
Those tapioca pearls. Yeah.
bubble wrap.
Oh,
yeah.
Bubble wrap. All right, Grandpa.
Why is the straw so big?
There's also a little bit here where Lunda's in a restricted area and a goon says, "No, go over there to the master controller," which apparently isn't restricted access at all,
Nope.
even though it master controls everything.
That's the control. That's the button that controls the green buttons. All the green buttons. The Alienator opens up, gets a mobile out, and it's like, job complete. The commander says, "No, I want that son of a bitch disintegrated." So she disintegrates him.
Turns green and goes.
The Alienator is like, "My work here is done." And
He's
throws them.
terminated.
Throws them. He's alienated because I'm the Alienator. Yeah. And she throws a bag at him, and I was like, "Oh, she's not throwing bags of face germs at him again, is she?" 'Cause that would be weird. But no,
It's a
it's
very
just
similar bag.
just same bag, mate. If you want the prop department, turns out it's just full of bow resin for violin and cello players, which is not valuable, really. Comes out of trees.
Was it
We
supposed
go-
to be diamonds or something?
I think it was supposed to be alien jewels. Yeah.
But it's something that's never been set up at any point.
No, don't worry about it.
Unless it's like the punji trap and it was there right at the beginning or something.
Again, it wasn't in the extended version that I watched. And then
Yeah, she says that she does that over like the comms thing. And Lund comes into the command room just as he hears that. And he's like, "Oh no," sort of thing.
yeah,
And then he reveals all along that he's been a spy and has disabled their apparatus, he says, even though there's no visual evidence of that happening whatsoever.
what apparatus?
Well, I think that's what
they
the
can't
commander
test
says.
for hydrogen anymore.
And then he says, "Skill, Commander, skill," which I really liked as a line. Like, no explanation of what he's
No.
done or why.
Oh, apparently he was part of the massacre people.
Yeah, and it turns out that Cole was his son.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I must have blinked and missed that bit.
You killed my only son. And then he gets his lightsaber out. Yes, That actually
What?
happens. He gets his lightsaber out and he has a
Big
struggle with the
sword.
commander. Did you miss all of this?
My film just
Did I
ended.
hallucinate?
Yeah,
it?
yeah. No, I there was some sort of battle at the end, I think, but
It's very, very brief.
I was
Commander
all over the
drives
shop.
the lightsaber through his body and he's got like a bloody fist at the end. And Tara looks frankly disgusted at this behavior. And then it ends and it says dedicated to the memory of Fox Harris right at the end of it. Which I
did
thought was
see
a
that,
lovely
yeah.
name.
Fox
Lovely
Harris
name.
was Bert.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He was
Did he
alienated
die
for
in the-
real. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a way to go.
One of
Fox
those- one of those-
Harris, what a name.
One of those Russian Chinese lasers disintegrated him.
Sounds like a World War One ace, like a fighter ace.
Fox Harris. Yeah,
Fox,
I can
yeah.
see that. And that's it. The film ends. And I missed all that end bit.
Yeah, I think I did.
Well, it
Maybe I
doesn't
was
really
watching a different
matter.
version.
It doesn't matter because nothing's changed. There wasn't any point to it.
I mean, the
It
commander's
threads it in
dead.
early, so it says that he's the delegate from Gamma 12, and then they casually mention slightly later on that Col is from Gamma 12,
Right.
and that gene hook is the same gene hook that.
Remember something about the hooks? Yeah.
That's
okay.
what they were getting at. They didn't do
Right.
it very well,
I mean,
and it doesn't
yeah.
matter because he didn't do anything.
No, he played Squeezy Bally. That's
Skill, Commander. Skill.
if he'd have said skills, that'd have been better. And then popped,
Yeah.
popped a wheelie on his chopper.
Skillage.
Hello, Bambinos. That's the end of the film. I didn't enjoy this as much as I enjoyed Interzone.
No,
Oh,
I
no.
didn't either. I was really disappointed.
It started
in
out
this.
well, I thought. Lots of
Yeah.
pews.
It was just after half
Big
an
old
hour
water purification plant.
when they were just running around a forest for 45 minutes. I was like, don't care. Get back to the purification plant. That's what we want. Want more space battles. Want more pew-pews.
The
Want
Colonel
more-
nearly saved it, but he was a bit racist.
I don't mind a racist old General Patton style colonel. Like it's good.
Rick died though, and I hated Rick.
He's just a grease stain in the forest. That's what he said.
That's what he says. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I'm going to give this 3 bronze Fabios because it had PJ Souls in it. Nice. And it had I laughed at 2 bits in it. I think the man falling off the first balcony and her getting a crossbow bolt in the back of the head both made me chuckle. So that's my reasoning.
Yeah, I'd say 4 bronze bugs in a bag. That's what I give it. wasn't quite silver territory. But it wasn't too bad.
For a film called The Alienator should have had more to do in it.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, 2 clay peephole Pringles. I'm
Ooh.
afraid it was very disappointing. It was heavy. It was stodgy. You wouldn't want to have to wear it around. But on the bright side, at least you get to show off your hairy nipples.
I've got these cones from a
Yeah,
test centre.
I've got 4 points. And you've only got 2.
True.
So that was The Alienator, 1990. 1990 was also the year that gave us Ghost, Home Alone, Total Recall, and also a lot of sequels as well. Back to the Future Part 3 and Die Hard 2. There you go. Oh, and Kindergarten Cop. I'll throw that in there.
Shut up!
It's a semi-remake of The Astounding She-Monster, and I believe Lund, the actor who played Lund, was in that film from 1957. And I say remake, there's a she-monster in it. I think that's it.
Okay.
Didn't have any budgetary information, so I looked up bear traps instead. You could buy a 19th century... You could buy a 19th century hand-forged bear trap for about $1,000.
What?
I didn't know this, but bear traps, they're only designed to catch and hold the leg of a bear,
Yeah.
not cut it off. If you fall in one, your leg would be very badly bruised, but not severely injured or amputated.
It
And this is
breaks
according to a
bone.
a helpful PDF on how to free your leg from a bear trap that I found online, which is totally the first thing you would do after falling into a bear trap.
Let me just check my. Okay. Oh, it's in PDF format. Hang on. Let me convert it to Word.
I was hoping as well that, that bear traps would be sort of abolished, but apparently they're not even now, not in all states in America. I think pretty much everywhere else.
I
So-
mean, I did watch a film yesterday, Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight, Part 2, where a man is setting a bear trap and it goes off and cuts his hands off. And then he just runs around going, until which was quite fun.
Yeah, I think it's kind of gone into sort of like our consciousness of like a massive mousetrap for scared teenagers in the forest, isn't it? But yeah, they're not that bad for people. They're just trapping animals. And
I think they just
It's
break
not
the
cool.
bone, don't they?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
I mean, it's cruel and unusual anyway. Just leave the bears alone, weird bastard.
Uh,
Just wait
we
for
got-
the bear patrol to come round. You see any
Knew it was
bears,
the
Lisa?
bears. Knew it was the bears. Even when it was the immigrants, I knew it was the bears.
I want to buy your rock from you.
We got to this film from our last film, Interzone, via Teagan Clive, who was the Alienator. Alienatrix?
I don't think they gender it. It's the future.
The director was Fred Olin Ray, who I think is pretty famous. I didn't know much about this, but
Has done a lot of other stuff.
Made a lot of this crap.
Yeah. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole with this. He's got 164 director's credits. He once said,
Hobbits.
he once said, making a film with no money or schedule is 10 times harder than it is to make a big budget show when you're surrounded by a gang of super talented people. In this case, he wasn't. His other films include Dinosaur Island, 1994, Bikini Pirates, I think it is, 2006, and Abner, the Invisible Dog.
Yes,
2013.
boy!
He's also he was also a wrestler. I don't think he's still wrestling. His wrestling name was Fabulous Freddie Valentine. So think of that what you will. He's also done like a string of
Sorry, I want to go back to
hallmarky-
Bikini Pirates. Sorry.
I want to go back to
There's a
Abner
lot
the
of that.
Invisible Dog.
There's a lot of invisible films, and there's a lot of bikini films, and there's a lot of dinosaur films.
Listen, if you've got the dinosaurs, the bikinis, and Nout, then you can just...
First you get the dinosaurs, then you get the bikini,
And then you get
invisibility.
Yeah, he has done at least one Hallmark film, because there
Oh.
were a load of like The Prince and Christmas and that.
Oh,
shit
yeah.
going on. Like fake royalty films. But he's also done a Hallmark film, which is Sister of Bride. But it looks fucking horrible. I don't want you to do it for the regular thing. It just looks boring.
I mean, they're all boring, mate.
The writer was Paul Garson. He only had one other writing credit for something called Cyclone in 1987, which is about one woman and a motorbike or something. So
Sounds riveting.
yeah, he was not well attended in this film. Commander, obviously, was Jan-Michael Vincent. He had a very sad-sounding life, fueled by alcohol
Yeah.
and run-ins with the law. Died in 2019. He also starred in Jurassic Women, 1996. A
Yeah,
meteor
Jurassic
shower.
dinosaurs. You then get the swimsuits.
A meteor shower causes a spaceship crash on a remote planet populated by beautiful and dangerous women, as well as cavemen. All procreation has been forbidden, as there is a war between man and woman. But when a woman and an astronaut falls in love, the spaceship's jealous captain joins the cavemen, and a fight ensues.
Oh, so like a modern-day Lord of the Flies, then.
There's a Percy Sledge song there somewhere. When an astronaut loves a cave woman, can't keep his mind on the tank.
I mean, I'm going to have to find that and watch that, because
Yeah,
that sounds
I'm in.
amazing.
This is the thing. Everyone who was in this has been in like 20 films like this. They were all sort of just like in the mix. Only John Philip Law was the actual big name actor in this. Death Rides a Horse in 1967. He was in Barbarella in 1968. He was also in Roger Corman's Von Richthofen and Brown, 1971. He was also in his own Sinbad film at one point in 1973.
Sinbad.
And I think that's where all the Sinbad copies come from. I'm not sure
Right.
because it's not a thing now.
No, they did. I
So-
think Sky did a reboot of Sinbad a while back, but they only got one season out.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was a bit like sort of Hercules, but without the right-wing agenda that they've got now.
That's what it's supposed to be, isn't it? Like Hercules, but more
No,
Middle
it was,
Eastern.
the Sinbad thing was genuinely really good. It just didn't do well, and it only got one season. I enjoyed it.
He was also this caught him in the 80s when he was at a low ebb, and he starred in films like this, like Thunder Warrior 3 and Space Mutiny, also known as Mutiny in Space, 1988.
Have we not done Space Mutiny?
We haven't, but Mystery Science Theater 3000 did.
Is that the one with Brick Hardbody, Throb Man Gristle? Where they...
I don't know because I didn't want to read too much. I don't know whether we should do that if Mystery Science Theater.
Mystery
has
Science
done it.
Theater have done it better than we will ever do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is a good film. I think that's the one with. Oh, is it? It's not Vincent Price. Oh, it's got like a proper actor in it. But yeah, all the way through it, they just because the man in it is just a meat slab. They just keep making up names for him all the way through.
Yeah, good stuff. Cole was Ross Hagen. Voice actor work included Red Dead Redemption. He was also in Dinosaur Island.
Oh, well.
Yeah. And yeah, Ori.
But Dinosaur Island isn't Jurassic Women, right?
No.
Don't want to get them
completely
confused.
Separate
do you?
canon.
Down the video shop.
Ori is Diana Ortelli. She was in Three Amigos. Something that just utterly ruined somebody's culture. An episode of Will and Grace. She was also in Jane the Virgin a bit more recently, and CSI Original. And the last one I'll do is Carolyn, who was Dawn Wildsmith. She appeared in such films as Surf Nazis Must Die, 1987.
I mean, not just surf ones, all of them.
Jacko, which is 1995,
Jamon.
which is about a jack-o'-lantern cursed by a wizard.
Yes,
And,
please.
And well, all of them are like
The
that.
fact
because
that it's called Jacko. So what should we call this? Spooky Pumpkin Times? Nah, mate.
And Wizards of the Lost Demon Sword, 1991. A swordsman helps a young girl fight an evil wizard for possession of the magic knife of Actar, which gives its owner unlimited power. The girl wants to help it to free her imprisoned father, and the wizard is just after it for his own reasons. It's got 2.9 on the IMDb.
Mate,
A knife is not a sword.
I was just going to say that.
Nice sword.
I see who played Knifey Spoony before.
She's had something like a 24-year hiatus between her last crap 90s film and then 2019 with something called Lake of Shadows. So she's still doing stuff, which is really nice to see. Yeah. Quite a few people went on to amazingly have a career after this film.
Not Fox Harris.
Not
Fox Harris didn't.
Harris.
Wait, Please Kill Me by Kai1824, 1 star. Recipe for one of the worst movies of all time. A she-male villain who looks like it escaped from the WWF, has terrible aim with a gun that has inconsistent effects. The first guy she shoots catches on fire, but then she shoots anything else, it disappears, and takes time out to pet a deer.
Most frustratingly of all.
I mean, Kai's not, he hates nature. Then you get the unlikable characters, 30-year-old college students, a lame attempt at a surprise ending, and lots more. Avoid this at all costs. I think 1 star is a bit harsh, but we'll go with a 7 out of 10, which was the highest I could find that wasn't written by someone who was in the film. This is by Dracula17, all capitals, all with underscores in between it. This movie does not look like it was made in 89 or 88. It looks like a mid-80s movie. What does that even mean? I was a little surprised when I seen that it was released in 89. The acting is typical of a mid-80s movie, and same with the effects. But this is my favorite thing about this movie. I love 80s movies, and this one is great. It has some comedic moments and the typical futuristic look on the spaceship.
Oh, yeah, I should say about that's nicked from a completely different film called Moonbase.
And I think it was used in Space 1999 as well.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this movie all around. Fred Olen Ray is great at low-budget directing and deserves more recognition for his work.
Not from this.
No, this is, bikini dinosaur women, invisible bikini dinosaur women. Revenge of the Killer Bikini Surfing Vampire Girls. If you don't like cheesy 80s movies, then don't rent this one. But if you are like me and you like to have a good time watching some classic 80s cheese, then rent this movie. You will have a good time. That's from 2003 when you could still rent movies, I guess.
I've seen it all.
And finally, 2 out of... There was a good review, but it was written by Joe17 or something. And I thought, I don't want people thinking it's me. This is by M28. Here we go again, another bimbo movie that shows all but nothing. Nothing can prepare you for another lousy bimbo outing. This time, it's being brought to you by the never inevitable Fred Olen Ray. As far as exploitation movies go, this one doesn't click. As a science fiction, it's plainly unoriginal. All that we see is an ugly feminine android wearing a bikini out to destroy the Earth and showing off all that's nearly bare to resist. What? Give me a break. If this kind of entertainment is your thing, then why not dust off those old SI swimming mags, Sports Illustrated, from the attic for a change? I don't have to wank over every movie M28.
No, I'm not comfortable with that.
She's named after the motorway.
I was just looking. Which motorway is that?
This would have been much better if it didn't set the sleaze factor on very high. I didn't think it, but that still wouldn't make this one great. I'd like to point out another film called The Assault, 1996, by Jim Wynorski, which resembles the identity of Alienator. It illustrates why top-notch first-person femme fatale action movies don't translate well into American culture. Sorry, fellas. Yeah, I don't know, mate. It's a sentient piece of tarmac.
M28, mate. I mean, if you're looking for something slightly more racy, then you need to get yourself off to our Interzone podcast and get to that bit with like the pilchards in the face.
Oh,
and the egg.
Yeah.
Sniff the egg.
Eating. Eat it. Sniff my egg. It's like Pimp My Ride, but without your man, the rapist. Keep it light. That's it for the reviews. In conclusion, that was 1989 or 90s, depending on who you ask, The Alienator. Mark, where can we find you?
Anywhere that's not being alienated, hopefully. We're at 100 Things Learn from Film, podcast that tries to learn 100 things from every film. Myself and a good friend John will pick a film that's better than this, usually, sometimes, mostly. And we'll try and pick out 100 things that we can learn from it. The other podcast that I'm on is Everything We Learn from The Simpsons, where myself and Tom try and make everything in The Simpsons about the north of England. Join us this week where we try and figure out which British town is most like Detroit for making cars. Spoiler, it's not Bedford.
Oh,
you think it might
shit.
No, okay, that's it. Gentlemen, your favourite lines from the film?
Annette? Annette? Annette?
Goodbye. I mean, Mark, if you've got one, go for it, son.
But mine's either all about Commie Rice or Gilbert Kinney dying in his cell last night.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Iroquois twists all over the shit.